Hey, I'm Chris Kirkpatrick, the safe bet money guy, teaching secrets of the wealthy to the movers and shakers of the world so they can avoid the stock market casino and gamble-proof their life. For this video, I want to talk about Robert Kiyosaki and how exciting it is that he has come out and endorsed cash value life insurance. Now, you may not see the excitement, you may not understand why it's so exciting yet, but I promise you will. If you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, he is an international best-selling author, he's a real estate investor, he's a business coach, and he's personally mentored thousands of people to financial freedom throughout the world. He's made a huge impact in my life personally, and I've spent a little time with him, I've read his books, and his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, made a profound impact at the beginning of my business career. One of the things that Robert teaches is that if you want to be wealthy, you need to think and act like the wealthy. Now, I know if you're into self-development, if you're pushing yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, you understand, you've heard that 1,000 times. The question is how? And so what I want to do with you right now is I want to unpack 4 of the things that I've learned in talking and studying and researching some of the most successful people throughout history and in current economic times. The first thing I want to share with you actually came from Robert Kiyosaki himself. And he simply said, if you want to learn how to create wealth, or if you want to be wealthy, I should say, you need to learn how to create wealth, not just go to work, punch a time clock, collect a paycheck, and get benefits. Because the scary truth is, the scary reality in this world is that 92% of Americans right now who are following that system are not able to maintain their standard of living when they retire. And so I'm going to ask you a question. When you retire, do you want to take a step backwards? Do you want to reduce your standard of living? Do you want to have to downsize your house? Do you want to have to not take as many trips, not be able to travel across the country to see your grandkids? Any of that? If the answer is yeah, well then you can keep doing what you're doing. But if the answer is no, you want more than that, then you really need to think about the results that most of the people following contemporary financial strategies are getting. The wealthy people understand this, and that's why they don't do it that way. The second thing that I've learned was something that I actually learned from Warren Buffett, I think was the first time I heard it. And he basically said is, you should never invest in anything that you don't understand. Actually, more importantly, he said, you should only invest in things that you know. And I'm going to ask you a question right now. How much do you understand about your 401k? How much do you understand about the mutual funds that your money's sitting in? How much do you understand about PE ratios for the stocks that you have? Any of that stuff. If the answer is not much, I'm going to challenge you right now that the next time we have a financial correction and you lose half the value in your accounts, it's your fault, not your advisor's. I'll tell you right now, the wealthy people understand that. That's why they keep their money safe. They keep it protected, safeguarded, and then they only put their money into things that they understand when the time is right for them. The third thing that I've learned is that you never want to tie up your money unnecessarily. And this goes back to another problem with the retirement planning institution of this country and the system that everybody's operating inside of. And it goes to the point that, you know what? How much sense does it make to put your money in an account that you don't have access to for the next 30 years when you may need access to that money for either a rainy day or an opportunity in a couple of years? It doesn't make much sense at all. But that's what most people are doing. Over 80% of the money being saved for retirement right now is going into these retirement accounts that are considered qualified accounts, meaning you can't touch that money till you're 59 and a half without paying penalty and taxes on it. Now, taxes, you're going to have to pay taxes on that money no matter what, but the reality is taxes are going up, right? At least I think they are. There's certainly not much room to go down, and so there's a lot that goes into that. But the third thing that I learned just is never tie up your money unnecessarily. Wealthy people understand that, so they don't put their money in accounts that they can't touch for 30 years when they may need that money for either emergency or opportunity, for business, for real estate investment property, for whatever, for any kind of opportunity that comes their way when they might need that money tomorrow. The fourth thing that I learned, and this is the overriding principle, is that wealthy people understand that money is simply a tool. They don't become a slave to their money. Money is a slave for them. Money is a tool for them. Now, all the things that I've said about 401ks, stocks, mutual funds, bonds, all that stuff, whatever. They're just tools. All financial products are simply tools. And you need to start viewing financial products as tools. Not all tools are bad. You just need to make sure you have the right tool for the job. How much sense does it make to bring a saw when you need a hammer, or to bring a drill when you need a saw, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. You just need to make sure you have the right tool for the job, the right tool for your situation. And the reality is that Robert Kiyosaki understands this. And the most successful, the wealthiest people in the world understand that money is this tool. And the reality is that a properly structured life insurance contract, a properly structured, more specifically, whole life insurance contract, is the only thing that will guarantee what you want to happen will happen when you want it to happen, whether you're here to see it or not. Now that sounds like a bold statement, but the reality is it's true. It's absolutely true. And there's a reason that these people are using this. And there's a reason why you don't know about it. And that reason is, you know what? People in the financial industry either don't know about it or don't want you to know about it, because if you did, then all your money wouldn't be going into these other funds and they wouldn't be able to make their annual commissions on your money being under their management. So the wealthy understand this. The wealthy understand how to leverage their money. And so what I want to do right now is I want to walk through an example of exactly what I'm talking about. I want to walk through an example. I'm going to show you an example right now of how a 40-year-old can take and leverage $100,000 that he's got sitting in a money market account at a bank, earning 0.1% of interest, literally losing purchasing power every year. Because remember, if inflation is going up by more than you're earning, you're losing money, because that money will buy less and less and less for you on an annual basis. And so right now, let's go through a 40-year-old that has $100,000 and what are his options to do with that money. He can keep the money in that bank account and go broke slowly. That is an option. Or he can invest it and take risk and risk losing a high percentage of it and risk losing access to that money. Or he can take it and put it into a properly structured whole life insurance contract. What are the benefits he gets for that? Well, if he takes $100,000, after 2 years, he's going to have access to 94% of that money. Actually, in year one, when he puts the first deposit of $50,000 in, because we're going to put that $100,000 in 2 payments, in 2 deposits into his account, into his contract, he'll have access to 90% after 30 days of putting the first $50,000 in. He'll have liquidity of $45,000, and then after the second part, the second year, he'll have access to $94,000. So literally, over a 2-year period, he only gives up 6% liquidity, yet watch all the benefits he gets. And the wealthy people of this world understand this. He gets a $1.25 million death benefit, meaning we all have people, families, business partners in our lives that we're doing this for, right? We want to leave the world better than when we found it. And I'm telling you right now, if something happens to you tomorrow, the next day, whatever, your family, if you're a business owner, if you don't have the right protection, you're exposed. They're going to be hurting, right? Unless you have a great succession plan with your business. And this is the only way to guarantee that if something happens to you tomorrow, they're protected. Instant wealth created overnight. On the flip side, if you live a long time, you still have access to the money to use for your business, to use as leverage to go where you want to go. On top of it, you get a 4% guaranteed rate of return on the money that you have left in the contract. 4%. That's 40 times higher than people are getting in the bank right now. 40 times higher, right? And on top of that, you get disability coverage. If anything happens to you, disability coverage is simply cash flow insurance. That's it. Meaning if anything happens to you and you can't perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, you will make sure that a majority of your income, a majority of the cash flow that you have coming in right now is covered, so you can keep your dignity, you can keep your lifestyle, and you can move forward, and you'll never put unnecessary stress on your family to take care of you. Thirdly, we're all going to get older. The reality is that 70% of people are going to need some sort of assisted living, assisted care as they get older, as we enter our aging elderly years. And what you can do with this contract is you can use some of the money in there. If you get to that point in time and you haven't run out, you haven't had any catastrophe happen until that point in time, you have access to this money to protect you in that environment. And I'm telling you right now, These are massive, massive benefits that most people in the world don't understand how to use and how to leverage, but the wealthy people do. And the reality is this is how the wealthy people think. They understand how to take money, use it as a tool, leverage it up, and get where they want to go. They know how to keep liquidity, use, and control of that money so they can have access to it in case of opportunity for their life, so they can have access to it in case they have an emergency in their life, so they're not going to have to pay penalty or taxes to access their own money. This money will grow on a tax deferred basis, and they can have access to this money tax-free. There is no other tool on the face of the earth that will do this for you. Rich people understand it. As Robert Kiyosaki says, that's the rich dad way, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, this is something that every single entrepreneur in the world, every single person that wants to guarantee that you can set a system up where you can improve the status of your life, your family's life, your business's life, and present yourself with more security in your life, more guarantees in your money, more opportunity as it presents yourself as you go through your working career, as you go through your entrepreneurial venture, adventure, I'll call it, or as you, and it puts you in a situation so you have more control over the decisions. So you're never beholden to anybody telling you what you can or can't do in your life. And so, like I said, just to recap, you're gonna have more security, more guarantees, more opportunity, and more control with your money. Isn't that what you're looking for? And I'm telling you, a properly structured whole life insurance contract is the only way to get there. I don't care what anybody tells you, that is those are the facts, and the math backs it up. Anybody who wants to tell you otherwise is crazy. So if you have any questions, I hope this helped. I hope the information was helpful, and there has never been a time more important than right now with what's coming down the pipeline to gain hold, to gain control of to grab a foothold of your financial position and make sure that you are structured properly, because the next financial downturn, you're either going to be really stressed or you're going to be able to thrive and create a lot of opportunity and a lot of wealth for you and your family and your business. So I encourage you, take the steps, subscribe to us on all of our social media outlets, go to our YouTube page, follow us on Facebook, follow me on Periscope at Chris_Kirkpatrick, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope to be able to connect with you guys on a personal basis. Please reach out if you have any questions. Until next time, live abundantly, live efficiently, live Life 180.